We made some moves this morning, Thomas.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we've moved some guys to the other side. Brooks Pounders will be heading over to the other side. Harrison Musgrave, Jairo Diaz, Daniel Castro, and Derek Gibson. We're going to flip on over to the other side. So, as Warren likes to say, we're thinning out the room.
There's a lot more space in there now.
Yeah, Tom, there's a process that all clubs go through as we move closer to opening day. So,
Hey, Harrison Musgrave, sometimes he is totally dominating, it seems like, in spring anyway.
right?
And then other times kind of loses a grip a little bit, so to speak.
And spring training or during the
Spring training.
Oh,
But am I seeing his kind of ups and downs accurately, or what did you see?
well, I think there was only I'd have to look really. I think his whole body of work was pretty good. I think that there was I think he pitched 7 times. There might have been one really rough outing that might have skewed the spring training numbers a little bit, but I was impressed by how he threw the ball. This guy. I wouldn't be surprised if if he has an impact on our big league team this year in some role. I like his weapons. I like his heartbeat. I like his competitiveness. He does a lot of things you look for in a major league pitcher. So, I suspect that he could help us, and we told him such.
Do you see him continuing in a starting role, or do you maybe want to see him in a relief role, or would you have him start down there and use him either way?
Yes. Both. I think he's the type of pitcher, and we talked about that as a staff, and also with Harrison about his versatility. He's sort of built that way. In I think in pitch style and in mindset. That it.
I'm choked up.
You all right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Water.
Yeah. You kind of West Virginian, and it's hard for us.
Does Thomas need a?
The beverage?
Yeah, there's multiple types of beverages in there.
I didn't know.
Why don't you grab one that says Desante?
Oh my God.
So anyway, no, he's built the right way to either start or relieve, which is great. It's a great trait to have. But he's got some weapons, and he showed well. There's again I'd have to look at every line, but the better part of his work was really good. Really good.
I think there's that one game.
And he pitched well last spring, if you remember. And then, then the season got sort of off track when he had the oblique early, and then he broke his finger on the pop up, and he just couldn't really get on track all year. So every year's different, but I'm hoping that this guy pitches well in AAA. With all those guys who are going to be there, the depth, is in a pretty good spot as far as if we have to make moves.
And Diaz being on your roster showed well this spring. What did you
Yeah.
see out of him, and what's the next step?
Yeah, I think he showed well. He threw the ball well. I think with him, he didn't pitch all of 2016, and last year he didn't pitch a lot either. So he's just got to get back on the mound and get back into the rhythm of the regular season and pitching regularly and getting innings under his belt, getting appearances, and getting into the flow of pitching regularly. And that's the thing that he has to do. And there's some technical things that he has to continue to work on. But as far as the arm, it's it's real stuff. It's high velocity. It's a hard slider. He attacks. He does a lot of things well. But he's got to go to AAA and just get into the flow of the regular season, and he hasn't done that in 2 years.
Right, there's another guy on the roster, Antonio Sensatella, has been someone who's
Yes.
started, gone
Right.
to the bullpen, done that. Specifically for him, Is that something you think he could do throughout the season, go back and forth? And then
Yes.
more philosophically speaking, the swingman in baseball.
Yeah, I think with Antonio, where he is in his career and how we need him at the big leagues, he's capable of doing both. I think we saw good work out of the bullpen when we moved him to the bullpen last year, and we saw good work in the rotation early in the year. So I think he's going to help us win baseball games. If he starts the season in our bullpen, he'll be a great weapon there to give us length if we have a short start. If there's an extra inning scenario where we need length, if there's a time where we just need his inning because other guys are down late in the game. If we have 2 or 3 guys down a certain night, he'll be there and we feel comfortable about it. He's had a very good spring. He's thrown strikes. His arm is strong. His pitches are where they need to be. We feel good about Antonio helping us win games. If he's on our roster to start the season.
If he's on the roster to start the season, does that change Chris Russin's role at all, or do you just
No.
like to have 2 guys who are
No.
available to go longer?
2, yeah, because you need one. You need a guy with length every night, right? And if Chris is our only guy with length, and if we use him, then what happens the next night? So, I think the way our bullpen is going to be constructed, we have a lot of guys who are, short spurt guys, 1 inning guys, partial innings, maybe 1 1/3. We need a guy who can throw 45, 50, 55 pitches on a given night. Antonio fits that bill. And that's where the Musgrave scenario came in. Musgrave could have been that guy too. So
I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I'm trying to think through that. Do you feel like that leaves you short ever with a 1 inning guy? You know what I mean? Like you want to save your longer. But you wouldn't be. I mean, Russin threw 1 inning.
yeah, Russin can throw one. Russin can throw 1 out or 12 outs for me. Same with Antonio.
It seems recently, and I don't have the entire day-by-day, I couldn't actually call it up, but Ian, you've played him pretty steadily at first base the last couple of weeks or so.
Yes.
Is that going to be the role this season? And do you feel that if you wanted to kind of combine him, he could easily go out to the outfield, that he needs to work more at first base?
Well, I think that, that's, part of the, the beauty of Ian. We've talked about this a lot, right, is his versatility. He has played first a lot because we've had other guys in the outfield. Tapia, Tachman, Parra, Gonzalez, Blackman, Patterson, Cuevas, Hilliard, Daza.
Get a Wes Rogers shout.
Dahl.
But
Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah, as the days
That's
have gone
11.
on, yeah, that's 11. As the days have gone on, there've been fewer of those guys.
Right.
But he's still continuing
Yeah.
at first base. So you want to use him mostly as a first baseman this year.
Ian made the All-Star team in 2016 as an outfielder.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good about that. We feel good about him at first base. He's a proven major league player, man. 3-time All-Star,
Right.
right?
What did you think?
Look at
of-
his home run totals over the year. Last year was a difficult year with the injuries.
What did you think of Lake last night, first base, and
Pat looked good.
he looked pretty
Yeah.
good.
He looked comfortable. Pat's a ball player, isn't he? Just
Yeah.
feel good about Pat. Made a nice play on Tony's when we picked the guy off. He made a good play to his left. It's not easy, going to a new position, but he's doing fine. He's a cowboy, man. He's tough.
He's a Cowboy and a ball player.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with him there? Or do you want
Yes.
to see him get more time to get,
Experience is always a great teacher. Time never hurts anybody, right?
No.
Experience. Repetitions. Always better, right? You're a better writer now than you were a year ago or 2 years ago, right?
Than last week, even.
Yes. Time.
Yeah. Mike Togman scratched. Is there anything to that?
No, he's going to go down to the backfield and get multiple at bats with Carlos Gonzalez and Nolan Arenado.
Okay.
They're all going to keep an eye on each other. Tyler Anderson, Wade Davis, Arenado, Gonzalez, and Talkman are all going to go down there and keep an eye on each other.
Keep themselves.
And I might even go down there and keep an eye on them.
Back to Desmond.
Let's go back to Desmond, Drew.
Just a minute. As you mentioned, guys, 3-time All-Star, has a rough year. Comes back and is
Had a rough physical
swing.
year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he made some changes to that swing. Where is he at in terms of that, and where are you at?
You know, he's doing fine. I think you look at his last 20 at bats here in spring, and it's just spring training. You know, he's hitting over 400. Hitting the ball hard, seeing the ball early in the year, early in spring. There's a number of guys that just weren't seeing the ball well, and you look at their numbers. But now that Desi's got into the flow of the spring and regular at bats and more at bats and more reps, he's feeling much more comfortable. So, and he's made a slight modification where his hands are, where he's starting from his stance, and he's feeling better about that as each day goes on.
Dale?
You sent David Dahl down to AAA.
Yes.
Optioned him last night. What do you want to see him working on AAA? What are you hoping to see from him?
I think just the total game. We talked about Jairo Diaz getting back into the flow of playing regularly. I think with David, I think it's key for him that he stays on the field. He's been, he was out of action pretty much the entire year last year, and there were some previous seasons where his season was interrupted due to injury. Not his fault. I mean, just some freakish things. I think there's a durability factor there that we need to see, and also to him get back into the regular season play. There's a difference between an exhibition game and a game in the regular season, and players need to go through that, and that's all that David needs to do. And I suspect at some point, like a lot of players, pitchers or position players, these fellows will help us, get to where we want to be.
Hey, yeah, real fast.
Yes.
The Diamondbacks announced their first 2 starters, both lefties. I don't. Maybe you saw it coming, but is it changing how you're thinking?
Oh no,
first?
did they really?
Maybe.
I did not know that.
I think you might be one of the last people in the league, by the way. Just FYI, but that's all right.
That's okay, right?
That's fine. Do whatever you want. But has that made you rethink how you're
No,
the first series?
No.
Okay.
Would you like to announce your opening day?
not yet.
Okay.
I'm getting close. I got to let those guys know, even though they sort of know. I haven't told them officially. We can maybe talk about this after the game.